Hello, everybody. It's Missing the Point. It's a show about sports by some guys that like to talk sports. We're doing two shows in one today, and I'm just going to be really meta about it. I decided it's going to be really free form, and there's a nude model coming in later. And we interviewed Cedric Maxwell last week. If you haven't listened to that, that was probably a highlight of my life and this show in general. So go listen to that. The man that was next to me when we did that momentous occasion, Hollywood Rayshawn Buchanan, is here. Another man who I honestly, the specter of this man's personality sort of appears on the show when he's not here. Like you carry so much weight, Mike. I feel like the last NFL show me and Ray did, we just talked about your takes because you couldn't be there, and now you're here. You're here to just walk in and sort of swing your weight around again, and just leave us to pick up the pieces later. I'm really excited to have both you guys here. We'll say that again.
That's two weight comments in 30 seconds. I am on Wegovy, by the way, Dave. So I won't develop a
Me too.
complex, but
First off, second of all, I am too. Of course, because why wouldn't you be? It's awesome.
Well, you're
second
in California, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they grow it on the trees here. First of all, I'm glad you're talking about it because let's destigmatize it. And thirdly, I meant your metaphorical weight, which I think is heavy. I just think that your takes and your intellect bring a lot to the table. But
I do love listening to the
show. I love your figure. I love your figure. I don't know what you're talking about. I think you look great.
Thank you. But there's very few things that bring me as much joy as listening to a show that I could not make, and then just hearing myself get attacked the entire time.
Really, because I thought I was trying to sit on the sort of devil's advocate side.
You did great, but Ray just, whoever was with you, I don't know if it was Ray or Bobby, they just fought you as if they were fighting me.
It was Ray, and I think that he would have done that if you were here, though.
Of course he would have. That's why I was there.
Well, I mean, thankfully, that's the situation we have on hand right now, gentlemen. I'm really excited to be here, and we're talking basketball first, which was your suggestion, Mike. So straight into the Lions den with this man. But I've seen you handle yourself well in the past, so let's see. Maybe it'll be all hugs and kisses, or maybe it'll be quite adversarial. Luka Doncic got traded for a fucking hill of beans. What do you guys think? What do you guys think of that? Is that a fair assessment? I personally, obviously, and we talked about this prior to coming on the show a little bit, don't think that was a very fair trade. Doesn't seem like the NBA community as a whole thinks it's a fair trade. Ray, you got any hot takes? You think this was a good trade for the Dallas Mavericks?
So, I mean, I think in the immediate, yes, only because I feel like, obviously we know what slander at times we were giving Kyrie as Boston fans. But he's been a model citizen down there in Dallas. I think that he's motivated to be, what he's been down there, even more. I think he had 34 in their last game. I know they lost to Philly, which is wild, but he did come up with a 34-point performance. So I do think him and AD on the surface is a very good combination. At the same time, it's like, I don't know how LA continues to get away with it, unless I'll let Mike elaborate on that. Further, but it's just like, but like I said, just far from the Dallas standpoint, in the immediate, they win, because you got guys I feel like they'll be motivated to play. You got the number one pick from 2011, the number one pick from 2012. So as long as they stay healthy, yeah, they can make a little run in the West. I don't know if they get back to the finals, but I can see them getting to a second round and at the best, a conference finals like they did last year.
And that is really the issue at hand, though, isn't it, Mike? I mean, this is a team that, however unlikely it was, when we look back on that Dallas Mavericks finals run, how happy we were to see that it was them. If we're all really being honest, if we had been able to pick, it would have been them, and I think, waxed them accordingly. They're not a finals team anymore, but were they going to be again? Maybe, probably not. They did maybe need to shake something up, I think, is what Ray's saying. And is that fair? You don't shop it around to the rest of the league, Michael. You don't shop it around to the rest of the league, see what the best deal is. That's where I'm with Ray. How does LA continue to get away with this, Mike?
Okay, so I do think that this was, yes, an unfair trade in favor of the Lakers. Yes. But I have a question before I expound upon my overall thoughts on it. Why did the NBA let this go through, but not let the CP3 trade go through all those years ago with Kobe?
I know. because Stern was like, "Fuck you guys," and now I respect
him and Cole.
Right. Like this is just as unfair as that.
Yeah. Because this is pre-injury, Chris. Man, that would have been. I mean, I don't.
It was the happiest fucking day when it got banned for no reason. I didn't do any investigation into how fair it was because we were such fans.
I do think. I mean, obviously, Lamar Odom went away in the deal. Paul Gasol won the deal. So now, if their goal was eventually to get what they got the next year, was Dwight Howard. Like, yeah, CP3, Kobe, and Dwight Howard. I mean, good night. Like at that time would have been crazy. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe the owners didn't make a big enough fuss about it. I know at the time Dan Gilbert and some other smaller market teams, were upset about the deal even being spoken about. So yeah, maybe those that were in power this time around just said, hey, maybe we're in a different space, and once again they set the Lakers up, not just for the immediate, but for the next 10 years.
So. But in the short term, I do think that you're right. I think that this actually helps, or not helps, but Dallas is not going to have that big of a fall off, right? I do. Yeah, I think Luka,
Luka's 25 years old though. I mean, like you're zooming out to like a 5-year window for that fall off. Like maybe not this year.
Sure, but maybe he doesn't put down the fork over the next 5 years and he's out of the league in 7. I don't know.
That's the worst. But that's the worst part is you just know he's gonna get in shape in LA. Like you just know he's gonna get in shape in LA. Like he's gonna go down there and like LeBron James is like maybe the best personal trainer on earth, and he's like, all right, like here's what we're gonna do. And I mean, honestly, like, would you be that surprised if they made a run now, like the two of them, LeBron and Luka?
Yes.
Would you?
LeBron's 40 years old. He can't play defense with the used to, and Luka won't play defense. So.
Yeah, but there was so many defensive liabilities that got them to a finals last year. Dallas,
it's crazy. Like it's like is it good? My thing is, we keep asking, when is he going to slow down? The man just had a 30-point triple-double in New York City the other night.
Like, I do agree though. The way he plays defense.
I'm tired of asking, when is it going to stop?
No, I'm not.
It's going to stop when he says I'm done.
I'm not attacking his ability to score because I would say that's getting better. He's just not playing defense to the level that he was, I'd say, in peak.
He can't. He physically can't.
But for Dallas, you guys all saw like the sneaky move that they made yesterday too when they got Caleb Martin from Philly.
Philadelphia, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So like their starting 5 now when they're healthy is going to be Kyrie, Clay, AD, PJ Washington, Gafford with Caleb coming off the bench. It's not a bad team.
It's not,
and it's well rounded. Now that the scoring's going to drop, they're going to be asking Kyrie and Clay to do more than maybe they can at this point in time. But who knows? But the Lakers, I think that's going to be an offensive show. I do think LeBron is going to get Luka in shape, of course. And if he can't, and the fact that Luka just lost out on $120 million in that max contract does not get him in shape, well then it's that says all you can say about him. My last point is just add this to the list of another future Hall of Famer that LeBron is teammates with that he can't win with.
Yeah, that seems unapplied context. There's a meme I'm sure you guys have seen. It's like if Ray Allen misses that shot, the shot on the Heat that I'm talking about. Yeah. If he misses that shot, like the amount of things that are different.
And if Kyrie misses that shot.
Yeah, like the big 3 on the Heat are 1 and 3. If that happens, like Duncan,
not even Ray Allen. If Kawhi Leonard makes some free throws, the Ray Allen one doesn't even happen.
Yeah, another one I saw today was the missed games. Kyrie got missed games, played games today. He was the next victim after Joel Embiid got that meme got hot around the league where it was like missed games, made games, and it was like, holy shit, dude, that dude's fucking stealing a living. And you look at Kawhi Leonard and you're like,
mm-hmm.
Did you freeze?
What? Please tell you what?
Oh, please tell me that you saw the meme that Brady was more likely to be in the Super Bowl than Joel Embiid was to play a game.
Oh my god,
that's hilarious. That's wild.
Trust the fucking process.
Yeah, it's happening. So,
dude, what's his trade value right now? What do you give up for Joel Embiid right now?
Well, he's not going to Utah. He's not going to Denver. He won't play those two places.
You said the Denver?
Can you get a star back? Can you get a star back from
no,
no, I said he won't go to those places.
I was about to say. I'm like, what? I'm like him and shit.
I can't think of a place like wherever he goes, he's upside down in his contract value wise. Like he can't give you the value that contract calls for. It's just not. I don't know where he could go where that would happen. Golden State, can he even fit there with that deal?
No, not money.
They always seem to be able to figure some shit out there, though.
Yeah,
I think they're always like,
well, they'll pay the tax. They don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, this team has already made a couple of trades, and we'll talk about them in a minute. But I mean, if you talk to Sacramento about getting Sabonis back in the deal, for
I thought that was a good idea for us that Craig came up with for give up for Porzingis for Sabonis. He's good.
He is. I'm saying, but I mean, I'm thinking of this. Yeah, Sabonis maybe for Embiid. Ironically,
I don't know if I would give up Sabonis for Embiid. I guess they're doing a fire sale though, right? So it's like,
I mean,
you might be able to see it, but
you get rid of Fox, Herter.
Would Philadelphia have to give up more assets for them to take that trade there, or they asked them to take on a contract?
Probably because I mean
Jesus, how the mighty have fallen.
I mean, it sucks. I mean, Philly probably had the rookie of the year, and Jared McCain, like dude was hooping before he got hurt for the season.
Yeah.
So they have some pieces there. Quentin Grimes, I think they got back in the deal for Caleb Martin. Like Quentin Grimes, was a really good defender when he was in New York. I don't know what happened in Dallas, but I think if he can get back to that, like he is someone that can be a really good piece there. So sneakily that could be a good move for them in the future. But yeah, I mean,
I'm a big Tyrese Maxey fan. I've been a big Tyrese Maxey fan.
Love Maxey.
I did have moments where I thought it was going to work out there.
I would move off him and Embiid if I could. I just don't know who would take him.
All right, so Jimmy Butler wants to play with Durant and Phoenix.
This is a mess too.
So I don't know if we could make this work, but if you could get Bradley Beal to waive his no trade clause to go to Miami for Jimmy Butler, if you're Miami, would you go after Embiid too? Because they're going to be $58 million under the cap.
But you can't. So
if you're trying to win anything, do you build that team?
I would say it's. I mean, obviously it's possible because we just find out Sunday or Saturday night that anything's possible, literally.
Right.
I would have to say you would have to get a third team involved because Phoenix doesn't have enough pieces where you would want in return.
You definitely would.
You got to get a third team involved for sure.
You like a fourth team because it would be Phoenix, Miami, Philly.
Yeah. Ironically, maybe Dallas gets back on the phone and say, "Here's Gafford and PJ Washington in the pick, and here you go." And then it's AD and Embiid with Kyrie.
But they could have gotten that. But that's still annoying because they could have gotten that with Luka. They could have gotten whatever they wanted for Luka. Like that's the most annoying part of the whole trade is like they could have had just taken a haul for him because they knew he was a fat fucking waste of space, but like nobody else was really saying that to themselves. Is it because they could have peddled that narrative afterwards if they got this big, brings us back to that idea. Like I do what you said, Mike, and what you seconded, Ray. Like I do agree with the idea that like it's not as if they just became like a charity team. Like it's not as if they just became a terrible starting five. Like Anthony Davis is older, 31 is old for a big man, but I do also agree that some of the discourse around that, especially on social media, is like a little overblown where it's like, okay, but like AD can still give it to you, like obviously. Just like watch him, like he can still give it to you from time to time. Like the Lakers.
And
yeah, so like yeah, I mean he's closer to a late stage Kareem, at this point. Like he knows how he can go out there and get his points. He might not necessarily be able to like adapt around the game. He might not be able to necessarily get up and down the floor quite as quickly. But he knows how to go get his 25. So if you can map your way to figuring that out where they are, I agree with you guys wholeheartedly. I just think that it makes sense. The fulcrum of the frustration for everybody makes sense in my head because it's like, but no one else got a phone call, dude. Like that just seems like a dereliction of duty.
Yeah, and this, and you guys can tell me if it's far-fetched. Those that listen to this, you can tell me in the comments this is far-fetched. This is just something I thought about on the fly. And that's why we call it hypothetical, obviously. If they were actually fielding calls And if he really was that much of a detriment to your team and to the organization overall, you know who I would have called on the phone? I would have called Detroit and said, "Would you give me Cade Cunningham for Luka?" I'd have shipped his ass
and some picks and a big fucking bag of picks.
Give me Cade Cunningham, a few picks, maybe throw in Malik Beasley as well, somebody else like that, and send him back to Dallas because Cade Cunningham is from Texas. And to me, you still would have been set up because Cade Cunningham, if you haven't been watching, that brother is special in Detroit. He's putting up some real nice numbers out there. I think he should be a first time also, if I'm not mistaken. So that's somewhere out. Like I said, you don't ship him to LA where he can still. He's going to get that $100. He's going to get that $100 million back. Let's be real. He's going to get the $100 million back, whether it's in branding.
No, sure, that's not really relevant. I agree. He'll be fine.
It's just like to me, you ship him to a place where like the NBA purgatory. Detroit's gotten better. They're considered NBA purgatory compared to the Lakers. So
I don't know. I just think like you got to shoot for the moon with a blue chip player like that. I got to basically like represented a finals push, with obviously like a solid supporting cast with like Kyrie playing as well as he was playing up until that point. And like the things they did were impressive as a team, but like, let's be honest, like Luka got him there and that wasn't enough. And that's fine. But his stock was at an all-time high. He might go there and win, but like OKC, I would be probably my first call. I'd be like SGA for Luka straight up. What do you think? What do you think? And like you've then solved your problem where you think you have to move on from this guy for whatever reason, because I don't know what the reason is. The speculation is what Mike said. I think predominantly that they were like, "You're a fucking fat slob. You need to like."
They said
he
got to
professional
he got to
athlete.
275. DK, just to give you clarity, the Mavericks said that he got up to 275 pounds this year. And
that's a problem, but they also just gave him a chip on his shoulder and a reason to like get in really good shape and go kill them for the next like 7 years. But like, like Ray's saying, like send him to fucking Los Angeles. Like, okay, cool. But I think OKC takes the phone call at the very least, right? I know that's their guy, and I know it's like I know it's big, but I mean that Luka Doncic is ready to go now. And
that would be seen as an equal trade though. Like people wouldn't have been like, "Oh my god, I can't believe they got fleeced." Like people were legit hot about this happening. And
I agree, because I think they could have gone way more for him.
Yeah, but once again, and it's been said around different platforms, but it's true. Like this is what the Lakers are the Yankees of the NBA, and
I know,
whatever they can get to Tinseltown, they're gonna do that. So from Will Chamberlain to people were throwing Kobe in there. I'm like, Kobe was drafted. Yes, it was a draft day trade with Charlotte, but I'm like, he was drafted. Stop it. Like he's homegrown. Magic homegrown. James Worthy homegrown.
Kareem,
but
not homegrown.
Who?
Kareem.
No, Kareem wasn't homegrown. No, I was saying
Wilt.
Worthy.
Wilt.
Yeah,
Kareem. Shaq. LeBron.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean,
so that's what they do.
But they're not going to win. You just know it. You both do know it. They're not going to win the championship.
The thing is, I do want to see if they do something else tomorrow. Like they do actually get a big man tomorrow. But
no, if they get Embiid and he plays, I'm gonna be.
No, that'd be insane. But other
LeBron's just like, I'm gonna fix your bodies. Let's go.
Other polls next year, and the year after that will want to come to LA. Luka will draw. He will draw people over there. That's gonna happen. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean LeBron still does, I would say. And also just the fact that they're the Los Angeles Lakers, as much as that taste gross, like coming out of my mouth. It is true. But let's talk about something else. The Milwaukee Bucks finally moved on from Chris Middleton. I felt like the story of their attempts to win since they won, outside of like, why the fuck did you guys trade Drew Holiday? But thank you. Why did you go all in? With that whole narrative we discussed ad nauseum, but I do think that there's something to be said for we're just waiting on Middleton to be healthy in a playoff series was a lot of what they were saying for a long time. And I think on our side, because we know we've seen the matchups, I think on our side, there was a lot of saying, I hope Chris Middleton's not fucking healthy for this Milwaukee series because he kills us on the wing and it sucks. Like, he does give it to us on the wing. Like, he's always just felt like 2 years their veteran, like just a little bit ahead of our guys, especially in like playoff situations. So, I mean, we all remember that the slog that was the Milwaukee Bucks 7-game series a few years ago, where it was just like, I felt tired and I didn't even play in the games, and I felt fucking tired leaving that series. And pour one out for Chris Middleton, I'd say, and honestly, pour one out for Joel Embiid. Like, you don't want to see these superstars, as much as these are our direct Eastern Conference rivals. You don't want to see these superstars like fucking not being able to play. I wanted to see them come up short on their own terms.
Right.
That was what I was hoping for. I wanted to see Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown to a certain extent, like the combination of the two. I wanted to see them surpass Joel Embiid and Giannis and all these guys. And it's like Giannis, thankfully healthy, but his Robin, God, could never really get there. So like, I mean, I know we kind of hate Embiid more collectively for whatever reason, but come on, pour one out for these guys. These guys are ballers, and I don't know. Are we ever going to see a fully healthy, important minute stretch for either of them ever again? It seems like their teams are starting to not think so.
So go ahead, Mike.
I mean, no, I think Milwaukee understood that. I mean, yeah, you should credit Middleton with really that championship that they won after COVID. Like that, if he's not on the team, they do not win that. They don't stomp the Suns.
Right.
But over the next couple of years, like if you want to keep Giannis there and build around him, and you think that he is the guy, which I think everyone believes that, you have to get younger and more athletic. And I think Kyle Kuzma is the next step in that. I don't know if he's as good as Chris Middleton at his peak, but I do think, I mean, he's only he's 29 years old. So he's
definitely going to give you more valuable minutes right now.
Yeah. And that's what you need. Like the last two postseasons, for the most part, Middleton's been absent. And if he wasn't, I think things, the series against us definitely goes a different way, in my opinion.
No, for sure. No, absolutely. I think so. He was hurt most of the Indiana series last year. He was, but we had a lot of fun with killing Doc on there. I think they ended up losing.
We'll always do that.
Yeah, they lost to Indiana. I mean, granted, truth be told, and people won't remember this because they ended up losing the series, but Middleton saved them from getting swept last year, actually, because Damian Lillard got hurt, Giannis was out, and then Middleton came back and went crazy in Game 4, and he helped them win Game 5 to get him back to Indiana, where they ended up losing the 6. But he had a bunch of great playoff moments. And it's like like I said, he's been a Celtic killer, as we just alluded to. So Washington should do him a solid and buy him out. Like, there's no way he should be there to be the veteran mentor there. Once again, Malcolm Brogdon seems to be a guy that's okay with that. That's why when I think about it now, I'm not sure we would have won with him being the sixth man. Because if you're comfortable with just being in the league and just being a mentor because you get minutes to play, like, then what are we doing? Like, I need someone in the team that has a desire to win and to kick someone's ass every single night.
To interrupt you, but it's not often we get to do this, but it looks like there is some breaking news that we can talk about.
Right.
So the Miami Heat are finalizing a deal to send Jimmy Butler to the Golden State Warriors for Andrew Wiggins, Dennis Schroeder, Kyle Anderson in a protected first-round pick.
Okay.
And Jimmy Butler has agreed to a new 2-year, $120 million contract extension.
Wow.
So that's
okay.
Happening.
Okay, so all right, forget what I was just saying.
And that hold on, that is per Shams, the guy that broke the Luka deal.
Right,
so like it's real.
Yes, yeah. Okay, so actually, let's keep it with Middleton. If he gets bought out, I'd be on the first flight to San Francisco. And now you're the sixth man over there. Watch out. I would
if he can play.
No, I'm saying, put me in the six-man role. I don't need you to start it no more. Give me 20 minutes off the bench and give me 15 a night. I'm here for that. He can absolutely do that in the limited role. I mean, they had to make that move. And it's funny because he was telling teams, meaning Jimmy, that he wasn't going to sign an extension as soon as he got
I heard
traded.
that too. Yeah.
But yeah, okay. They gave him his money. Wow, $60 million a year, which is really 30 over there where you're at. But maybe even 25 million, honestly. But
So
yeah, well, weather like this
that's
doesn't
a hell of a
come for
squad
free, my
Warriors.
friend.
Yeah.
Said, yeah, wow. But no, I mean, they once again, Golden State had to do something. I'm surprised they did give up Wiggins in the deal. They kept Kuminga, so I think that's huge. Because Kuminga to me is someone I even want to hear to come off the bench eventually. So yeah, okay, that's good. That's good. That I think that puts them. I don't know what I think their record's still around 500, but I do think this reunites. Steph. It's gonna be funny. You're not gonna be tougher than them because you got him and Draymond. Same team.
Yeah, well, I wonder how that dynamic's gonna work.
Yeah,
that's gonna be fucking wild.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it could explode immediately.
Well, Jimmy's not KD, so Draymond ain't gonna be able to say whatever and think that
because that was a rumor today, right? KD back there.
Yeah, but
get him out of basketball
publicly said under no circumstances will he ever go back to Golden State.
Which is really, I don't want to go back and play with Draymond. If Draymond was gone, he absolutely would go back. Absolutely, he would have went back. Absolutely.
Yeah, they did not get along.
Yeah, so
this is true.
Yeah,
you know why I think that might have been though, and this is a sneaky high level insight here. So buckle up. I think it might be because Draymond Green is a prick, and I think that he's probably really hard to get along. And yes, I would absolutely concede that.
Hoop, though. I mean, yeah, he is a little.
KD he does get a little mad sometimes, though. He does get a little.
Stylistically, Golden State fit KD's game the best. Like they did exactly what.
Dude, that was the craziest basketball I've ever seen in my life, dude. I was so happy when that was over.
And he just leaves.
Insane.
If he doesn't get hurt, they win three-peat. No doubt.
Yeah, and you know what's so funny? You know what's so funny about the revisionist history of that is I don't know why it didn't go in for people like this, and maybe it's because I have a bias against LeBron James because of his time and context in the East with us, but KD killed him. Killed him in that finals. So, to go back just because he kind of disappeared off the relevancy map after that, and it didn't, that injury happens where his ankle just, I'm going to throw up in my mouth, reliving it. But, and especially just because he's so tall and skinny, and you could just really see every fucking tendon just whipping up the back of his leg, and you're like, oh. And he's, one of the best athletes you've ever seen. And he played, I think, and I don't know if I'm being hyperbolic when I say this, or I just can't think of another time, but I think that was the best basketball I've ever seen with my eyes, was KD in that finals. I really genuinely believe that, offensively at least. Let's say, I'll say that just as a qualifier. The best offensive scoring performance I think I've ever seen. And when he was just breaking LeBron James's ankles and shooting and just giving him the AI and or just going to the basket whenever he wanted, passing whoever he wanted, and then the supporting cast was bananas. I mean, talk about, it fit his fucking game out, right? That shit was unfucking believable. And now, under no circumstances, just because Draymond Green's an asshole, dude, I'd rather have KD if I'm a Golden State Warriors fan. I'll tell you that. Jesus, I know Draymond's done a lot for the Golden State.
I mean, as much as I troll him, a motivated Jimmy Butler is a hell of a player, right? When he wants to, I
think I look at him like a boss we defeated already, so I just don't know. Yeah. If there's anywhere he can go
him doing everything that Steph and Draymond don't want to do right now, it's going to be huge because he's another playmaker because he passes the ball really well. He's still a capable defender, and you're going to get 15 to 20 from him. So
also high IQ basketball. For being really honest, Jimmy Butler does play pretty high IQ basketball most of the time. Which has kind of been the calling card for the Golden State Warriors. It's fun. I mean, we are talking about it here in real time. We are parsing it out in real time. So, looking at it, I mean, it's fun. And if Bobby was here, I think it passes the uniform check. When you picture him in the uniform, like when McCaffrey got traded to the San Francisco 49ers. And there is some merit to what Bobby says about this. And I think if you do picture Jimmy, I've probably seen it in a Photoshop Instagram post or something. But if you do think of Jimmy in the Golden State Warriors uniform, I do think it kind of works. Let's see. I mean, they're right at 500, so it's really gonna you're gonna be able to see really directly, in very data-driven ways, how Jimmy Butler impacts this team because they're kind of starting from zero. What would
So-
be your prediction for the rest of their season, guys? If you think to yourself, what does the Jimmy Butler Golden State Warriors tandem look like?
So they're what? They're 50 or they're what, like 49 games in. They're 25, 24. They're just one game over 500. So 33 games left. I'd be very surprised if they didn't go 20, 22 and 11 and make a run. And then that's not a team I'd want to play in the playoffs.
Right,
Again,
correct.
Just because it's the last two things we talked about. As it's currently constituted, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. There's more trades that could happen. Which team scares you more? The Lakers or the Warriors?
The Warriors, probably.
Right.
Yeah, probably the Warriors.
I'm on the fence on that, only because, like I said, and maybe because it's PTSD for what Bron's done to us in the past. Like, I just
Not the same guy anymore.
he can whenever he wants to, and we've seen it. I mean, granted, if you're not facing Denver, he has a chance against you. Like, I'm sorry, I don't know. I'm on the fence on that, but I mean, it would be either one. I think, like I said, you wouldn't want to face either one of them. They come playoff time. I think it just be.
We might get that
out.
series too, right? If that's what happened last year, didn't it? It wasn't Lakers Warriors.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
That would be fun. That would be a
must-watch
series.
It is. When you look at that conference, like, it is starting to take shape over there. You're starting to see, like, who can kind of do what. And the guys that did make moves are probably the ones that kind of needed to strike while the iron was hot. Like, where the Lakers are is, like, it's a place they can build from. Golden State has a bigger hill to climb, but I still would sort of maybe bet on them. Just, I mean, probably PTSD from what I've seen them do over the past few years.
Right.
You guys want to talk about the National Football League?
Well, hold on, because there's one trade we didn't bring up.
Oh, what did I forget?
Yeah, De'Aaron Fox to San Antonio.
Oh yeah. That's great, actually.
Yeah,
that's a really good one. I can't believe I forgot about that one. It's so much has happened since yesterday.
Right.
You're right. I mean, they got Wemby, somebody to play with. I think I really like it. I'm just a little concerned with the kind of narrative that I saw emerge on the internet of SGA being like, oh, they finally, or not SGA, sorry, De'Aaron Fox being like, oh, they finally got him his point guard. And it's like, he's not really like he's not like a prime Rajon Rondo, like, I don't know if a lot of these people have watched him play, but like, he's shooting guard adjacent to me when I watch this game. Am I way off? So like, I think it's a good move. And I think it's, the scoring from that position is going to go up a lot, which they needed, but
yeah,
I don't know if he's just feeding Wemby now.
Yeah, no, but then they needed someone else that if he's out of the game or if Wemby's having a tough night,
totally,
someone that can just say, "Hey, I'm going to the cup, and I can dunk it on you." Like I said, De'Aaron Fox is another one of those guys from that 2017 draft. One day we will look back at that draft the same way we looked at 2003, because you got Fox, Mitchell, Tatum, Bam. Who else is in that?
As long as you don't look at one, you're fine.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, but even for him to have the bounce back, the end having after the injuries, after that, like he obviously
everyone has their dark though.
You say falls to the dark? Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. And then Lonzo had injuries too, so maybe Lonzo, we looked at him a little differently. But
I liked Lonzo's game though, especially once he left the Lakers. Like, I was like very pro. He was probably in my top 5 like target acquisitions, which would have not worked out, all things considered. But I really liked his game.
Healthier would have, but he just didn't stay healthy. But
no, I really did like it though. Like, once he left LA and I was able to look at him clearly, I was like, oh, you know what? There's a shitload to like about how he plays basketball, and like, it's kind of difficult, or it's kind of a bummer to think like how his career worked out, because he could have been like the 2A guy on a really fun team, like a really fun Mavericks team or a really fun Spurs team or something like that. I could have really pictured that, and it didn't work out that way. And I do think, you look back and people are so reactive. Like, people were basically just mad at his dad for talking so much, but like, I don't know. Now that I look back at it and I don't really have to hear from that guy anymore, I'm kind of like, well, he was just like sticking up for his kids, just leading his kids. It's fine.
I mean, but
like, who cares?
And once again, they all have done something.
Yeah,
it may have been not the conventional route, but it happened. But just far, I want to speak from the Spurs perspective, because I know that the Kings have been all over the place, but since they're firing Mike Brown. But once again, you get Fox. I really like Stephon Castle from UConn. who should be rookie of the year. Here's Derek White 2.0, but he's a little more athletic. That kid could hoop. And if he's up for a contract in a few years, because Derek White and the rest of them guys are getting older, you should absolutely look at Stephon Castle to be the lead guard here in Boston, to play with Tatum and Brown. I'm telling you, look out for him. I was right on the Derek White thing. We have the tape, but I'm telling you that Stephon Castle is in that, he's in that mold, and he'd be a perfect fit here if San Antonio don't re-sign him.
You heard it here first, folks. You heard it here first. Ray's made a prediction. I'm excited to see how that Spurs team works out now, to be honest with you. I really think Wemby's a fucking freak. I'm glad we got the chat about Wemby to Cedric Maxwell. And I just yeah. That was a pretty timing pretty well timed clip.
Oh, so good. So good.
Where do you think, what stage in their development are they, Mike? The San Antonio Spurs now with this addition? Are they there? Are they almost there? Are they a couple pieces away? Are they a couple years away?
Probably just, they're probably 2 more pieces away, like 1 more starting piece, right? Because is there 4? Is that Harrison Barnes?
Yeah.
Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I don't know if he's the best. I think you need more scoring. I think, and also Wemby needs to put on another 15 pounds of muscle this offseason. If he does that,
I don't know. He's playing so good.
It's a lot, though. It's a lot. He's a lot.
He's 7'3", 234 pounds.
That's pretty skinny for this.
I don't know.
He needs to be 250.
15 is a lot, though. That's a lot for his game. That's a lot.
I don't need him to be Shaq. I don't need 320 walking around here. But he's
so. Can he be honest? Can he be honest? Can he be honest with the jump shot?
Better.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying Giannis with a jump shot. That's what. Yeah.
Yeah. If he can do that, then
and
absolutely.
that. But if you can defend at 3 levels like that, like if you can get to a point where you can just basically match up on absolutely anybody
from one level,
his recovery is unreal.
It's insane. It's really insane.
That's what I'm saying.
It must feel crazy to play against him.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Whatever he's doing, it's working, because I haven't seen anything like it.
You said it. I think you said it last year, Dave. You were spot on. He was like, "Look, we better be thankful he's out west, because if we don't get one now, we ain't gonna get one. But we got one."
Dude, I'm fucking. I did say that. I'm fucking scared of that guy. He's like a big giant alien coming to fucking kill us. Like, this is our Godzilla. We need to get ours right now, and then we need to get the fuck out of the way. I really genuinely believe that, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's completely fucking fine. But man, that's a big, scary monster coming down the hill, and he's a lot of fun to watch. And I think we all, anyone who likes ball just likes the San Antonio Spurs. I think that the Greg Popovich Spurs were often the defenders of our freedom and beating up on teams that we hated or disliked, and we were really cheering for the San Antonio Spurs as our Western Conference heroes a lot. I think Popovich is one of, if not the best head coach in the history of basketball. I think he's cool as shit. And I really hope that that franchise bounces back. I think that they deserve it as an overall entity.
And good on him for staying, because we've seen other championship coaches bounce when their team is under a rebuild.
Yeah, totally. But also Kyrie Irving bounced on Pop, right? And then, where do you guys stand on that? Clearly he's still hurt, so it wasn't like the Spurs' fault, right?
Kawhi Leonard.
Kawhi Leonard. Oh, sorry, did I say Kyrie Irving? Sorry, I meant
Kyrie.
Yeah. My bad.
Go ahead, Mike.
No, I just think, I don't know why he left, but he's never been the same. He's literally, how many seasons, full seasons, has he missed since leaving San Antonio?
Close to 3.
He did win a chip, though. So it's, you kind of have to balance the 2 things. Okay. He was right and he was wrong.
Yeah, but we did just say that was because KD got hurt. We just said that.
Yeah, but you won. You won. But it's just
sure.
But my thing is, basketball wise, we talked about this when we started the show. But I can't believe it's been 5 years as well. About to be 5 years.
Happy anniversary.
Right. We said that he should have stayed in Toronto. Basketball wise, it made sense. He should have stayed in Toronto, because with him, Lowry, Siakam, Boucher, they had it. They had those guys ready to go. Despite the fun rants about Toronto on here, those are that's.
I mean, the thing is, I didn't even say that. I was on the opposite camp. I was like, if I was quiet, I would have fucking left that clown show too. Like he dragged them to the finals. Proof is in the pudding. Mm-hmm. They look like shit after he left. Like, you know, I mean, to me, I thought he was elevating a lot of those players. And honestly, when I still see those, but I don't know what it was about that team that just like rubbed me the wrong way. But I see a lot of those players now that have like left that.
What? But you got to think they had been knocking on the door out east for a while. Like they got to a couple.
It was annoying. You're tiny. Don't do that. Just be quiet over there. Like it's fucking Fred Van Fleet. I don't want to hear you knock at my door, Fred Van Fleet. Get out of here. I don't want to talk about him.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it took balls from Masai Ujiri to trade DeMar DeRozan, and you know, that's the thing. So, that's
I don't know.
Made it happen.
I didn't want to play into the narrative, but Mike just texted me that I hated that Bobby loved them. I did probably in the end, but
you were in like your era first where you hated anything that Bobby and I really said that was that was against the Celtics. If we were just on here promoting Celtics propaganda in 2020, you hated us.
I feel like that's revisionist history. I feel like that's revisionist history. I mean, I'm sure you do think that, but you know, thankfully we recorded all these. I'd thank you to say that the burden of proof is on the accuser, but I would just say that I had a chip on my shoulder because I didn't want the Toronto fucking Raptors to be our big rivals in the fucking East, dude. All right. Like I'm used to playing teams from real places that like I actually respect. I want to be battling the fucking Miami Heat. You know, I want to be battling. I mean, I'm even a little resentful of the Milwaukee Bucks, but like at least they had some eras, you know, but the Philadelphia 76ers, like, let's get it, baby. Like, I want to see that. I want to see that red, white, and blue out on the court against our lovely Celtic green. And like, when it was the Raptors, I was like, can you just have like one fun player? I like that era when you guys just had like one really fun player that I like to watch, but you never bothered me, you know? And then now it's like, no, we're building up like, and then all that shit. Oh, they're so scrappy. Like, look the way they put this starting five together, all these kind of island and misfit toys, they're all unwanted. And it's like, no, Kawhi Leonard is a fucking problem. And if you put a bunch of fucking idiots around him, he'll make them look really good. And like, he was on a mission. So that turned out to be, fucking tell him what they want, Johnny. True. Because he left and they didn't do dick ever again. You just stopped hearing from them. So again, the proof is in the pudding. As far as my intentions go, I don't know. You're casting me in a very villainous role there, Mike Marcangelo. I don't know. I feel I've historically felt nothing but affection for you guys in my memory. Nothing but affection.
I could not have done a better job than your rant did. So thank you for that.
Yeah. A lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I will admit it was a much more conflict-driven era for the Bucks. And you know what? This is what happens. You grow. You learn and change.
I mean, even our Kevin Durant argument that ended in, well, we both just wanted him, and we just both came to the same conclusion. Well, we both wanted him here. We're hurt. Our feelings were hurt that he wasn't here.
I remember so clearly the morning I woke up and I heard that he went to Golden State, and I was like devastated. Like I really had convinced myself he was coming to Boston, and it was going to be so much fun because he was so much fun.
Because of Kelly Olynyk and David Ortiz.
Oh my God, Kelly Olynyk!
What a time! Oh my God, what a time, man.
We were also coming off the back of building out rosters around Tatum and Brown that just like we're never really going to get the job done. But there was no point in like paying all those guys yet because Tatum and Brown were in their first few years, which obviously we don't really think about that. But then because we're like, go get Kyrie Irving, fucking yes, let's go. Like Al Horford's coming, like we're doing this. But as fans, I think that they kind of did it right, especially recovering from Kyrie the way they did. But there was just a lot of teams that we would build where I was looking at the players and I would be like, you are not good enough to be on the Celtics, my friend. Like you are just not good enough to be here. And so when we would get into rivalries with teams like the Toronto Raptors, I'd be like, ugh, dude, no, for the love of God, like let's not accept this as our level because we haven't won since 2008. I mean, before that it was a long drought too. So I was just worried that our DNA as a franchise was changing, you know?
Yeah, it was for a while. But they found a way to figure it out. So.
I mean, what do you guys think is going to happen now that they're going to sell the team? Though I'm generally happy with these owners.
Well, We're going to find out everything that we need to, I think, this trade deadline, because if they push Drew and move him for nothing, really just to avoid paying the taxes, like they just saved what, $18 million.
Yeah, but I don't know a lot. Once again, outside of the money thing, actually, Craig put it into our heads earlier, but it's just like, there's no logical move I could think of that you move Drew Holiday right now. Once again, if it's the offseason, say they spiral and they lose in the second round. Okay, that, and you say, okay, we lost, we struck lightning in the bottle. Money wise, we can't keep this team. Let's break it up. Cool, fine. I will still be mad, sure, but that's more understandable. But to do it in February, and because other teams are panicking, trying to catch up to what you're doing, it's not that you're trying to catch up to them. They're trying to catch up to you. There's no need to move Drew Holiday. And I want to be clear to Celtics fans out there that are clamoring for that. You wasn't screaming that in Game 3 when he got that steal on Aaron Nemhard. Okay. You wasn't screaming that even the other night.
Let me stop you.
It's like, come on.
Let me stop you. Let me stop you for 1 second. I feel strongly that I have been the number one Drew Holiday fan in this particular zip code of the podcast area. His drop off this year has upset me, and he is not as good, and he has not been playing as well.
So, okay,
I wouldn't say I'm clamoring to trade him, but I'm not saying they're making this shit up.
So I think two things are true. I think that what you said is spot on. Yes, there's been some regression in the regular season. He even had some moments last year where he took a dip and was like, what is going on? Why did we get him? To me, I never viewed him as someone that was going to be dominant in the regular season. He strictly was a playoff move. Remember when me and you came on the show after he got dealt here? It was me and you. And I said, he's the Dennis Johnson, and that's what he became.
I'm totally good with that. I'm happy to land right there with you.
That's the only way that it keeps me sane. Because if I don't have that lens, then yeah, I am going to be mad and I'm going to be pissed off that he's not doing what he needs to do. But he's strictly a guy that's okay. When we get to the postseason, I know he's going to make the right play 9 out of 10 times, and I can live with that.
But just to be clear, the context of DK's question was what happens with the Celtics with these new owners, and what we saw earlier today is that they're shipping off. It's not a major piece, but they're literally training people to get under the tax, because the Celtics thought they were going to be sold in December, and here we are in February, and no one's bought them yet. So Wick or Daddy Wick, whoever is actually running the team, if they get to a position where they want to become more desirable just to be bought, just to be bought, then then we have a problem.
Yeah,
like if they get bounced in the first or second round, yeah, absolutely, you should reevaluate your team, right? But to your point, not now. And the fact that they're trading nobodies just to save $18 million in tax liability,
I guess,
is a problem.
The only thing I could think of is, so Springer was making $4 million, right? He was making $4 million a year. With them trading him and the second round pick to Houston, they created a $4 million trade exception. So there are some guys that could be in that range that can be a 9th or 10th man off the bench. And we actually just played him on Sunday, and he was here. He got drafted here. I think they're going to look to go after Gershon Yabusele to bring him back here. Because now he's ready to be in the NBA. He wasn't ready when Danny drafted him years ago. He's ready now. And, to me, he's more of, I don't know if he's really the defender, but he is someone that can shoot the three. And he's clearly in the best shape of his life.
What do you give up for him?
I would give another second rounder to Philly. And then my thing is, I want to know what JD Davison and some of those guys at the back have on ownership, because I might Springer gets moved, but JD Davison, some other guys don't get moved. Like, what is going on? So move one of those guys at the back end and go from there. So
yeah, I wonder. I mean, a lot of the data you could use to justify moving on from a guy like Drew Holiday, his efficiency from like quarter threes and like a lot of those like advanced analytics are coming up. But I just wonder. I mean, we talked a little bit about this with Cedric Maxwell, and I told Cedric Maxwell that this is a drum we've been beating for a lot of years here, and our over reliance on the three has been a thing. Now, we all got a little shut up when they just went out there and fucking hit 9,000 of them and won a finals. I mean, I think that's at that point you're like, thank you. I'll have another, please. But how much of it is Drew Holiday's fault, and how much of it is a strict allegiance to the system of just jacking up threes? Because if you're going to justify his efficiency or justify a trade because of his efficiency levels dropping, and especially in like really significant areas as far as how the team plays, but you're not going to make any changes tactically to try to get more out of him, you're just going to trade him. That doesn't seem like a very win centric mindset. Does that make sense?
Yep. Yes.
Great.
So is there any move that you would do, Mike? Is there any move that you would do? Like, would you look about the bench, or would you care about another starter?
No,
like, I mean,
if we're operating under the assumption that we know what these guys can do in the postseason because they proved it last year, right? Like, let's just get this group to the postseason healthy one more time,
right?
And then see what Drew does. Because I have a feeling he's going to show up in the playoffs because he did for the Bucks, he did for us last year. It's like whatever.
Even Derek White, where he's been.
And Derek White can be the holdover in the regular season because he is. I mean, he had 14 of his 20 points in the fourth quarter the other night to win the game. So like that's just what he is.
I felt. I mean, I already had been vindicated, but I felt so vindicated again last night because I was just like, yes, yes, every three going in, yes, because I'm just like, it changes the level of this team when him or Holiday perform well. It just does. Because for the most part, what you're getting from KP, Tatum, and Brown, But when those two other guys step up and get that 14 to 17 range, it's curtains, it's ball game, whatever word you want to use. Like they're a whole different team. And once again, Pritchard's kind of come back to his level, so to speak. Howes has been in and out because he's been injured. Listen, Luke Cornett. Luke Cornett's been awesome lately. He's been awesome. Yeah. And once again,
I don't love it. I don't love the here we are again in the Twin Towers form. And I understand that a lot of it has to do with getting Horford rest. And I'm not blind to that. And I like the idea of resting Al Horford. I do. And I think I agree. Luke Cornett has been a hustler. He's been really good. It's just not the best. It's just not how I love how they line up. I just feel like there's teams that we could run into in the playoffs where it'd be like, oh, Luke Cornett might get exposed. You know what I mean? Just to your point about Holiday, where it's
Joe has
same thing with Payne Pritchard. I've always had that worry, and it went fine last year.
Guys, I mean, Pritchard's going to come off the bench because obviously he's someone that can get you 20 points in whatever time. So that's not been proven. So
that's fine. He's Eddie House. I'm good with that.
Yeah. So exactly. As long as like I said, as long as the Horford, Porzingis, Cater, and Cornette stay relatively healthy, then they're good. I thought Horford was great last night too against Cleveland. I think he had 13 and 10. I think he just matches up well against those type of bigs. So Jared Allen and who's the other guy over there? Evan Mobley. So he just plays well against those type of guys because Mobley was non-existent. He shut Mobley down, and I was shocked watching the highlights and I missed it, but I was like, wow, I said he really got into him defensively. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think maybe they look to bring in one guy or they'll sign someone on the vet minimum because I think now they're under the not under the apron, but I know that they have another spot now because they traded Springer. So I don't know who it'll be, but they'll figure it out. Brad usually does.
Yeah, I trust him. I like your Yabusele shout. I think that would be cool. And I'm also a little bummed that Springer's gone. I agree with you there.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was. Cause I've been asking people in group chats that I talk to as Celtics fans is where's the hunger right now, right? Where's the heart coming from? Because complacency kills, and there's been moments that they've been complacent. And that's probably the most critical statement I've given in a while, but it's a fact.
About 18 months to be exact.
They've been complacent at times. And once again, do I still think they're the favorites? Absolutely. I still think they can find a way to go back to back. But we're speaking on it right now. And right now they've been complacent. And, they need to get better defensively. They've had some games where, they remind us how good defensively they can be, but play better defense and execute better. And I know we talked about Porzingis, being in and out and not maybe necessarily being a guy and getting some of the guys in here. last night again showed it's different with him in there. I was laughing with some Cleveland fans. I said, remember it was 4-1 without him last year. There was a play that perfectly shows what Porzingis can do. He sets the screen, he slips to the middle. For some reason, Jared Allen, Darius Garland double the corner to Jaylen Brown. They slip it off to Porzingis. He dunks it for 2. And I'm like, this is why you have him. That's why he's the curveball, because last year that might have been, or the year before, that might have been a messed up possession, but you have him there and he gets those points in the paint when you're struggling. So I just want to see them healthy going to playoffs, like you said, Mike, and I'll take them on the road. So people are worried about the seeding. I'm not. At any word of Janet Jackson.
I mean, don't fall out of the top 3. That'd be fucking dumb. But like,
yeah,
I'm okay with it too.
Milwaukee's not going to catch them. Or
no, well, of course not.
I don't know who's 5. 5 Indiana, I think. I don't know, but I think 5 is Indiana. Indiana's playing good ball right now, but they're not going to fall to the top 3.
No, it'd be the next, if anybody. But Thibodeau's going to work that team like they're going to be dead by the.
Well,
by the
I can see them catching us because he's going to make them play hard every night to the point where they're cold. And once again,
he runs a 7-man rotation for 82 games.
He's the new D'Antoni in that regard. If you need, once again, if I just need 1 or 2 games on the road, I said it on any interview we've done recently. I've said it on just regular shows we've done. I trust them on the road. I trust them with Brad on the road. I trust them with email. I trust them on the road. They will come into your building and steal your heart. They've done it plenty of times. So I have no issue about that. I just, for some reason, I don't know why they reverted back to sucking at home again. They were phenomenal at home last year, regular season and playoffs. But I don't know what's going on. But once again, on the road, they are road warriors, road dogs, whatever word you want to use. And they figure it out. So I'm cool come playoff time.
Torrey Craig got waived by the Bulls. Wing help, buyout market, cheap.
Yeah. I mean, that's, once again, I don't know what he makes, but yeah, that's someone that can be an help too. Like I said, I just
think Danny will give us Walker Kessler.
Danny wants too much. He wants like $1 million first. It's like, bro, like, what are we doing? You're not Sam Presti. What are we doing?
Yeah, I mean, he did build a pretty good Celtics team with that attitude.
I mean, Utah got some players like Keontae George. Obviously, Laurie Markin was really good. I
want Kessler. Give him.
Yeah, I mean, I like Kessler too, but like Master told me, he was like, he's not a scorer. I'm like, we don't need another scorer. We need someone. I mean, we do. We need a scorer from the wing position, not a scorer from the big man, but we need someone that's going to get another 5 to 10 rebounds a game that could get Tatum and Brown the ball more. Period.
Agreed. Let's talk about the NFL. The other 3-letter. I tried to do it half an hour ago. We fired off another 30 minutes on the NBA, which was good. It was all good content. Craig, let me switch brain gears here for a second. Would you guys make of that AFC NFC championship weekend? Kind of saw the old Washington Commanders, Philadelphia Eagles thing coming, unfortunately. I think you probably had a hunch yourself, Mike, as much as you didn't want it to happen. I didn't want it to happen.
I know the Commanders, so I mean that's what
yeah. Well, just goes to show. And then, of course, nobody that likes their money bet against the Chiefs, even though we thought maybe if it was ever going to happen, this would be it. Maybe this is Josh's year. A lot to be said about that 4th and 1 play. I think that thing's been talked about, but where do you stand on it? I mean, are we NFL's rigged, Chiefs, blah 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 blah, no, or are we like, come on, guys, you gotta beat the guy to be the guy?
Yeah, like Ric Flair said, you gotta be the man. To be the man, you gotta beat the man. And right now, like in any major sport, tie goes to the best team. So that was not definitive at all. So I don't think the NFL owes Buffalo anything. The referees don't know. I mean, it wasn't conclusive. Do you think it was conclusive, DK?
No. I think you gotta go out there and beat him.
Right, exactly. So,
and I thought the thing is, I thought that he could. Yeah, I thought that he could. I thought that watching Josh Allen this year, I thought it wasn't a terrible candidate to go and be the one to knock him off, but it just didn't happen. I mean, he was playing superhero football all year, full blown Roy the Rover stuff, and it was just hard to watch. I really wanted him to win. I really did. But it's also, and this is more of a Ray point of view, but by osmosis, it is a very Buffalo Bills thing to do, what they did last weekend, Ray.
Mhm.
No, I mean, it's the only thing that's more Buffalo Bills is if they had won and finally beaten the Chiefs and then lost to the fucking Eagles. That's the only thing I could think of that's more Buffalo Bills.
That for sure would have happened, though. That absolutely would have. Absolutely. And once again, ironically, they are the Philadelphia Eagles from the early 2000s. They are. And once again, that's okay. Because that means you're having really good seasons. You're going deep into the playoffs. I mean, obviously, they haven't made the conference finals 3 or 4 years in a row, but I think they've made 2 or 3 now under, Josh Allen's leadership. So, they once again, they just can't figure it out. And once again, I remember how it was with Peyton Manning early in his career. It didn't matter where, especially if he came up here, it was a wrap. Like he wasn't winning up here, until 06. So I don't know. Just sometimes you just can't get past certain guys. And whether it's Lamar can't figure it out, Josh can't figure it out. Any quarterback, right? Outside of Burrow, even like I said, Burrow hasn't won yet, but he's the only one that's come to Arrowhead and done something, something of any magnitude. So, I don't know, but I'm to answer your question about do I think it's rigged or is it's like nah? It's like they're what we were,
Yep.
And it's lonely at the top. It's lonely at the top, and they have the best player on the best team, and they had a quote unquote subpar season in people's eyes, and yet they're still here in the Super Bowl and have a chance to do something that hasn't been
in the
done.
conference title game.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, so is it 8 straight now for them? Is it 7 straight? 8 straight. Is it 7 straight for them? 7 straight. So okay, it'll be 8 next year. But yeah, like you know what I'm saying? So it's wild to see what they've done. But like I say, I don't now my only thing is I don't want them to get 3-peated. We'll talk about that, but it's just like other than that, they've been awesome and they're good for football. So it is what it is.
Yeah. I've obviously being a Why?
It just helps my Brady narrative more because I'm okay with Andy Reid passing Belichick because I do think Andy Reid's a better football coach than Belichick because every team he's ever gone to has gone further. 3 quarterbacks, 2 teams, always in the playoffs. But like, you want something you want to have someone to chase, and the Chiefs are obviously the people to chase. Now, I don't want them to win fucking 6, but whatever. Like, whatever would motivate this cheap-ass organization that we've become to stock up and go back after and try to achieve glory again, I'm all for it. I am. Like, I do. So that's what I want. I really do like Andy Reid. I know Mahomes, like, whatever. I think on the field, he's the second greatest quarterback I've ever seen in my life. Right. And like usually there's like we talked about this I think a year ago, 3 of us actually. There's always like a 10-year gap between eras or dynasties. Mm-hmm. This hurts Patriot fans so much because it literally was us and then
there was like it was an actual crossover game between Brady and Mahomes. Like there was an actual crossover Super Bowl, like a gauntlet handoff crossover.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. So
yeah,
I hate Philly so much. They ruined our chances for a 3-peat. So I don't want them to ruin.
The second time. I'm like, sorry, yeah. The second time, right. Yeah, right.
It'd be an interesting wrinkle for the. But it'd be an interesting wrinkle for the Philadelphia Eagles to just play spoiler to both of those situations both times, right? Just in the context of the kind of fan base that they are.
I mean, listen, because I like Saquon, that's the only reason why I was like, I would love to see.
Me too. I mean, how can you not?
You can't hate him,
especially when they
with all the Giant stuff. So
I'm like that to me, and because of my hatred for the Giants supersedes what I hate for Philly, I I would forever. Yeah, it's always going to be the Giants over the Eagles. The Eagles, no way. But also, it's a little different. I have a family member that coached for the Philadelphia. Like he was a head coach for them, so it's a little different, little different feeling for them. But other than that, like nah, like go get them, go get them. And once again, that's a big fu to the to all the Giants nation. So it'd be awesome to see him get it done in a couple of weeks. I mean, it's like a couple of weeks. Sunday.
I can't believe you were related to Doug Peters. You guys don't look alike at all. Get him on the show.
Look it up. You're on Ray Rhodes.
But you're a pretty independent party when it comes to this, DK. So, like, who do you hate less, the Eagles or the Chiefs?
I'm really careful. Like, I know I do this all the time, but it's just sort of abstractly how I think about sports. Like, I know in football, I've never seen my team achieve greatness, but I've seen my other teams in different sports achieve greatness. And I know exactly what it feels like to be the best in the world and have other teams' fan bases hate you just for that reason. And what does happen, and I can vouch for this because I can point to you a million examples. What does happen is their bias really starts to cloud their judgment, and there's a lot of coping going on, and there's a lot of like, no, because they fucking cheated, that's why. And I'm always really reticent to sound like that. I really just don't ever want to be the guy that's like shitting on the Pats for taping practices, and because my attitude on it is like, why didn't you fucking do that? Like, did you just not think of it? Are you stupid? Like, when I see teams that are just always trying to get an edge and always trying to win, and then it works, I think that's cool. So it's hard for me to like hate a team just for them being good. Now, that being said, not really for your guys' benefit, maybe just to protect my youth, I really don't want to have the conversation about Patrick Mahomes comparable to being comparable to Tom Brady.
You won't need to.
Unless they're the three-peat, because I just think the dumbest of us are the ones going like, yeah, you can talk about it now. Like he's about to surpass him. And it's like about to, like, that doesn't do anything for me. It's really hard to win Super Bowls. I mean, it's supposed to be. So until he hits the numbers, I don't want to entertain the conversation. I really don't. I just think 7 is such an unachievable goal still, no matter what happens on Sunday. I really do. And I'm worried that if Mahomes three-peats, people are going to want to shoehorn Patrick Mahomes into the GOAT debate early before he's earned it. And I don't want to have that conversation. That's my honest to God main concern about Sunday.
And we've said this before. To me, that happened after they beat San Francisco.
And it was ridiculous then.
Sure. But I'm saying but because people have been looking for so long to anoint someone above Brady.
Not that long though.
2 fucking years. 2 years.
No, I'm saying, but like people. Okay, I'll put it like this. This is why I had an issue with those that anointed Mahomes or anybody else that would be on that level. People really didn't consider Brady to go until he beat Atlanta and he passed Montana. That was in 2017, right?
That's absolutely true. I feel the same way, and I think that's correct.
Right. So you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, so you're telling me he had to wait all the way to year 15?
Yes.
16? But no, which is, I mean, fine, whatever you want to put it that way, cool. But I'm like, he had to wait that long, but yet this guy gets 1 or 2, and you're already saying that this
fucker has to wait too. That's my whole point.
Yeah, I'm like, that's insane to me. So now, if he gets to 8, and you want to say, okay, fine, whatever, like, or he gets to 6, all right, like, you put him in that category, but it's just like to not have more, because once again, all of you Jordan fans that get on LeBron, that's the same argument y'all make. So how can y'all say that Mahomes has already surpassed Brady when it's the same argument that y'all give LeBron and Jordan? I don't understand it.
No. The argument is different, Ray, because in this case, Brady beat Mahomes twice to win 2 Super Bowls. Jordan never got to slap LeBron around, which you would have done. So like
but I'm saying
1.5.
To me,
1.5. Let's be fair.
What do you mean?
1.5.
Just in context. Just you have to put it in context of where they were in their careers. I mean, it's like, I understand Tom Brady was a million years old, but he was still playing at a very high level. You know,
Tom Brady. It's like Patrick Mahomes had Andy Reid still had. He was young. I get that, but he had Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Travis Kelce, Kareem Hunt.
No, totally. When he was a baby. He was a fucking baby. He was a baby. I just think I'm not putting myself in a position to argue for Patrick Mahomes. I'm just saying, like, I think your argument holds up without having to use that one, to be honest.
But then because you inserted yourself with that argument, DK, but then
Brady
Mahomes
won one,
as well. So. And then next year, Brady slapped him again. So was he still young?
That one for sure. I think you got to use. I think your argument just holds water so much already. You don't really need to pull that stuff out yet. I think you're going into the well like way too early. How about put some respect on Joe Montana's name? Why are we just skipping over him? He's about to be in the conversation with Joe Montana. That's the conversation that people should be having right now. Because if he wins on Sunday, then he's in the conversation with Joe Montana, right? But you like exactly what Ray said. You put him through the scrutiny. You have to put Mahomes through the scrutiny that Brady went through, which is literally compare him to Joe Montana. Then you can compare him to Brady. Like, you still have to beat the same bosses, dude. Like, it doesn't, you know what I mean? You don't just get to skip it. So first you got to be better than the last guy that was the best. Then you get to be better than this dude, right? And Brady had to go through all those hoops as well. I'm just saying, because the thing is, I don't even want to be having this fucking conversation, first of all. But you don't have to pull every arrow out of your quiver yet. Is it like we shouldn't even be entertaining this at this point? Even if he wins on Sunday, we shouldn't even be entertaining this at this point. The only thing to be saying is just you got to come talk to you when you get 7. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And then you compare inside the context of the 7, because then, so say we go 4 years into the future, he's got 7, right? Then you can start to say, okay, yeah, I know. Well, I mean, I'm just going by the math. The math maths because the rate, we go 4 years into the future, he's got 7. Then you start looking at how they got their 7, right? Then you can start having those conversations. Then you can start looking at who beat who. Then you can start looking at comebacks, giant comebacks against Atlanta. Then you can start all that stuff. Then people can on the other side can bring out, oh, okay, but if Pete Carroll just runs the fucking ball with the best running back in the NFL on 4th and 1, this is the time period where we don't have to be having these conversations.
Hold on, time out. Because I know this is not where you meant to go with this, but you brought it up, so now I got to say something about that, right?
Sweet baby Jesus.
Seattle was up 10. We get mad. No, I know
that for when the guy deserves to be in the conversation.
They was up 10, and they lost the game. Atlanta was up 25. They lost the game. I just want to add context. We want to add context. Let's put the whole thing in there. These teams were up by a big amount.
I'm trying to protect your team's legacy. I'm trying actively to protect your team and your guys' legacy by telling you don't have to engage with those people. Not yet. You don't have to defend yourself. Not yet. You don't have to defend Tom Brady or the Patriots.
Only Giants can say something to us. No other fan base can say anything to us.
Correct.
Period. Because once again, Philly didn't beat us both times. They got us once. Okay, great. But
I don't know, the Steelers have the same amount of Super Bowls as you.
Yeah, but when it's mattered, they haven't beat us.
That's just true.
Period. So that's I wasn't trying to go there, but
it mattered 6 times, and they won 6 times. Like
sure.
Here comes the Steelers fandom.
I just disagree with what he said. Plenty of teams can say things.
Factual. The 6 is factual.
6 and 6.
Yeah.
Racy to 7 would be
Brady
my
has 7.
mentality with those guys.
I'm team
Brady has 7, but he has to leave. That might ding you. That might ding the Pats. You have to get out of there in the 7th one. Because Belichick was like, "Can you do it with this guy I found outside? Throw it to him." I think he might be fast. He just went mad scientist by the end. So what the fuck was Brady supposed to do?
Pretty much the same.
I respect it. I was there, guys. I watched all of it. Arm in arm with my brothers that were all Patriots fans in that era. And I hated fucking listening to you guys. I hated it. It was miserable when I was there. And then I moved to LA and I got a little distance and I was like, you know what? Great team. I love that I witnessed greatness. And because I didn't have to hear from you guys for a lot of the last half of it,
10 years,
it made it a lot easier to respect them. Made it a lot easier to respect them as a dynasty. So that was nice. No, I mean, honestly, I think it is what's going to happen. I think if Mahomes wins on Sunday, it's going to be like him versus Brady. That's going to be the whole narrative that gets pushed. I think it's lazy. I think it's stupid. And I just don't think we're there yet. If we get there, I'll say it. I'm not trying to just be a hater, but it's literally arithmetic. It's just counting to 7. It's not that hard. It's doing it 7 times is fucking bananas, guys. It's crazy. Like, it's fucking insane that he did that. Like, and if I see that twice in my lifetime, I'll eat my own dick. How about that?
Half of his career, the man was in the Super Bowl.
I know, it's bananas.
Half of his career. Like,
I know.
8 straight title games. Like, what are you talking? And I'm sorry, and I hate
Mahomes is going to 7 straight title games in his first 7 fucking years.
Yeah, I mean, which is also fucking crazy. That's crazy. It's crazy.
Bears could have drafted him. Isn't that crazy? They fucking traded up for Trubisky.
What's funny, but Buffalo could have too.
Oh boy.
At least they got a guy that worked out like way sooner for them.
But that's
fucking Trubisky, dude.
I mean, we've seen guys put up crazy numbers. In this league, as outside of Mahomes. Are any of those guys as good as what Peyton Manning was?
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, Peyton Manning, like you can sort of
right now.
Better than Peyton Manning. We're just talking about for like passing wise, or because he won.
I'm saying just as a quarterback talent.
Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I'd probably say Joe Burrow too.
Okay.
I think Joe Burrow. We're saying other than Mahomes, obviously, right?
Yeah. No,
I would take.
I'm saying because the argument is always, especially with the basketball, like, who did they beat? And I'm saying, like, when you had to go through MVPs like Kurt Warner.
Oh no, I think Brady played against better quarterbacks overall. I definitely think that Brady played against better QBs.
It was,
if that's your point, then yeah, I'm with you.
He had to go through
and better defenses.
Yeah, no, better defenses probably too. Yeah. I want to see the fucking AFC just keeps rolling over every goddamn year. That's the real issue. It's not as if they've had to really gauntlet it out the past 2 seasons, you know? I mean, Jesus. But the 49ers didn't even know the rules about the coin toss.
But what was the stat line? I think when they all retired, it was like there was a time where there was like a 15-year stretch where every AFC Championship game was either Manning, Brady, or Roethlisberger. If I'm not mistaken.
The last 15 had been either Mahomes or Brady.
So that's
crazy.
That's insane. That's insane. That's wild. That's wild.
Just one quick question, DK. I love Saquon. I think you love Saquon. Ray, you love Saquon. Is there any chance that Saquon goes off in this game? Because I just think that's the one thing the Chiefs and Spagnuolo are gonna plan for.
It's hard for me to not envision him just popping one off like in the first quarter, because that's what he's just been doing to everybody whenever he wants. And honestly, like what the playoffs really convinced me of, and I didn't really give them a ton of credit, as you guys know, this season. It took me a little bit to come around to them because I do think Sirianni's a dumbass. If anything gets him on Sunday, I'll still reiterate. I'll still go down on that point. It's going to be Andy Reid beating Nick Sirianni. That's what I can definitely see happening. Mm-hmm. Also, Patrick Mahomes beating Jalen Hurts to a certain degree. I mean, if you're really betting smart money, we basically did an entire diatribe just now between the three of us of the legacy of the Super Bowl and what guys you see in there and what guys come out on top. And honestly, I mean, Jalen Hurts he can make plays and he's like a great fantasy QB, but he's not Patrick Mahomes, dude. Like you can't bet against that guy. That being said, if anything can happen for the Eagles, it's that. Right? Like if we go special player for special player, I'd usually rather have the QB. I think we've hit that point ad nauseum too. But if we go special player for special player, we're really saying that it's Saquon versus Mahomes. And it's a question of which guy is, like you said, Mike, which guy's going to show up? Which guy's going to show up and just win the game for his team? If it's neither guy and they both get game planned for somehow, I don't see Mahomes getting game planned for. But if they do, then the Chiefs will win. Yeah, because Andy Reid will I think. So
remember that joke I told you that my boy told me? He's the black Alex Smith. Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I mean it's
like
it's tough. It's a tough look. I mean, I really do think that I was way undervaluing the Chiefs' offensive and defensive lines, and their defense, honestly, as a whole. I really think their defense is super legit. I think they have a couple of kind of hit or miss wide receivers. What's that?
No, I'm saying Chris Jones is legit. McDuffie is legit.
Totally. No, totally. It's not as if the Chiefs aren't making sure that their defense is like in the advanced analytics statistically for like, they're hitting all the right metrics for like what this Chiefs team needs for them to win. I'm just saying, I think I didn't give enough credit to the Philadelphia Eagles lines, and I think Saquon really is having a special season. I think it's a special season whenever it happens. To be honest, I really do. I think he's done a lot, but come on, Mike. Like me and you are always on the same page about this, right? The running back's not going to go win a Super Bowl for his team.
That's really why I won. That's really why I won.
Two takes are possibly colliding on this one. The running back can't be the best team of Super Bowl champion, right? That could come to fruition. And like the Philadelphia Eagles went from starring in Rent earlier this season, and now they're back in the Super Bowl, right? So like they went from AIDS to the champs potentially. So Dave, we both have the chance of being either still being right, because I think if Sirianni gets his ass kicked, he'll be fired, probably. If he loses a close one,
you really got him to another Super Bowl.
If they get smoked, yeah.
But are you saying in the offseason, if he gets fired, does he become like, if you're like, you got him to, these are all the metrics that you like in a head coach that you think are defensible. He hits all your markers. Would you fire him?
I wouldn't have fired Jim Caldwell, but the Lions did. So yeah, I'd probably fire Sirianni. He's an asshole. And if you can't win with Saquon and with Jalen Hurts and with AJ Brown probably in his last year and Devontae Smith now and the number 1 overall defense. Now, I'm not saying if they lose by 3, if they lose because of a pass interference call or a late hit, again, that's different. But if they go out there and it's 31-9, you got to think about.
I don't know if I see that happening. They've honestly gotten better in the playoffs, which I think is the best thing for them. Is I think that they really locked in professionally in the playoffs, which is not where I saw coming. I mean, did you expect it, Ray?
No, but once again, when you have that type of talent, eventually it takes over. I
also think they did have kind of an easy game.
They better not give it. It's going to be tough on Broad Street. You're gonna know what Broad Street bully mean if they don't find a way to win. So it's like, but somehow, some way, I expect a Ric Flair type promo, and Mike knows what I mean when I'm about to say this. I expect Patrick Mahomes or Andy Reid to say, with a tear in my eye, I consider this to be the best day of my life. Like, I'm paraphrasing, but that's what's going to happen. They're going to sit there. They're going to third. They're going to third in a row. They're going to make history.
I think they had.
They want.
I think the one thing you could sort of say about the Eagles, though, as much as Saquon definitely went out and killed a lot of teams, and they played really well.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of nice things happened to them. They got a lot of breaks their way. The snow game against the Rams, a Rams team that should have had a home game before that and didn't get one, and then had to go on the road in the snow against Philadelphia. Tough. And they almost let them come back and win in the snow, I might add. There was a gamey performance in the fourth quarter by their offense, by the Rams offense. So that broke their way a little bit, right? That hard snowstorm came in. You could look at this as luck and it's going to run out, or you could look at it as I don't know, they might have a little fairy dust on them. They might be the ones this year. So I'll just make this case and you guys can take it for what it is. They beat the Packers, who I think anybody would have done, to be honest with you, if they're playing against a Jordan Love putting in a performance like that. Was I happy about that performance? Yeah, I was. Did I take my gleeful laps around the pond? I tried to. Mike rained on my parade, as he's wont to do. He said I couldn't celebrate Jordan Love being a fucking waste of a contract yet. All right, we'll do it again next year, no problem. But terrible quarterback performance, at least in that game. Which when the other team's QB just doesn't show up like that and shits his pants, Sam Darnold, elsewhere, it's going to be a lot easier to win the game. That breaks their way. Then in the NFC Championship game, listen, I know it was a plucky underdog tale, and I know that we really enjoyed it, but let's be honest. They saw the Washington Commanders, a team that did not deserve to be there. They're ahead of schedule. They're doing great, but the Washington Commanders should not have been allowed to go to the NFC Championship game. And when I'm looking at you, Detroit, I'm looking at you because you, much like the Lakers not showing up in the 1985 finals, much like that happening, you guys owed the Eagles a date at the prom. Okay, you didn't show up to the dance. It was your time to show up to the NFC Championship game and beat the Philadelphia Eagles. Instead, you let the fucking Washington Commanders go in there and play the Philadelphia fucking Eagles. That's crazy. That's crazy. You were the 1 seed. That's embarrassing. You need to take a look at yourselves, okay? And I hope it wasn't your offensive coordinator's fault. I'll say that for the record, for twice on Sundays. All right. Fingers crossed for me. I'm not going crazy this offseason. My expectations, I'm going to leave them low so I don't fall to
we'll talk to you in August.
If I was going to get really excited, I already would have, I think, because of all the Eric Bieniemy signing, which you shouted out.
I was here.
Eric Bieniemy.
I know. I was here last year. You knew you were going to draft Caleb, and you were still like, okay, it doesn't matter. Like we'll be fine. It's still whatever. And then fucking Hard Knocks
I did say I didn't want to retain.
And you lost your fucking mind after Hard Knocks. You were Team Everflus, kind of like the beard, like the hair. Love it all.
Pre Hard Knocks, I was saying we need to move on from him. I was saying that before the decision came down. And then I rationalized it. I said, I just got to stick with this guy because we're sticking with him. So I hope he does good. But I did know he was a fucking plonky idiot. Like I knew he was an aw shucks dumbass. And I talked myself into him from Hard Knocks. Yes, I got fully propagandized by Hard Knocks. You're absolutely right. I'm not going to have this problem this offseason, you see. So it got me fired up. And I should have known better because we were on Hard Knocks. I should have known. So you're right there. And I'm not going to get too excited. I do like a lot of the noises that are coming out of there. What the fuck was I talking about before we got sidetracked? Oh, Detroit. Come on, guys. Yeah, like that was on you. The Philadelphia Eagles, this is my whole case in point. They had some stardust potentially on their run to the Super Bowl. And now you got to play the far and away most legit team, even close, that you've seen for the entire postseason. That 31-9 could be in the future. Honestly, I wouldn't be wholly surprised if Ray's prediction comes true there. Ugh, depressing. How are you guys feeling about the Patriots offseason though? Are you happy with all the moves? Have you been in the nitty gritty figuring out who your coaches are going to be? Have you seen like coaching hires happening? Who are you liking? Who are you not liking? What's going on? You getting good guys? I've just been reading it's like offensive line, ankle brace coordinator hired on day 3. I'm like, yeah, great. I'm going to learn all their names.
Vrabel mostly took from the McVay tree, which I fucking love.
That's great. Yeah.
And he's mixing that with Josh. And I'm if there's one thing that we know is that Josh McDaniels is a damn good offensive coordinator. So that's all we need him to be. Yeah. I'm really happy with that.
And he's in charge of the whole thing, I would imagine, right? Vrabel's going to focus on like HCDC sort of responsibilities.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Which again, I'm 100% now. Vrabel didn't pick Josh, which is the one concerning thing, but he could have had the chance to veto him and he didn't. So I'm okay.
Seems like a good idea. It seems like a good fit, to be honest with you. I don't think he would have had a huge problem with it. I think it was for who was available. I think and like what the situation. Ray, you seem like maybe not. You're not a fan.
Well, I mean, obviously, we dubbed the nickname, just for Josh out here. So there's going to be moments next year where we're infuriated with the play call.
Those kind of plays work more now than they used to. Like since the Ben Johnsons of the world,
the personnel to do it. I mean, once again, we may have it now with Pop, whatever. We'll see how that looks, but they didn't have that personnel when he was doing that. But anyways, the organization obviously knows that fans have been more in tune with what the coaching staff would look like because they have not posted a what do you call it? They have not posted, all coaches in a long time. Like all the they have not made a post of all coaches being on the staff.
Interesting.
Because it was just like Bill for everybody.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't, no, I'm saying, but like there was no emphasis on knowing a Pep Hamilton, a Romeo Crennel, a Charlie Weiss, a Brian Dable, a Billy. Like it wasn't emphasized on that. So the fact that that's being so emphasized now, it's just like that's, that's that's a testament to them knowing they fucked up. So I'm here for it. But the same investment they put in the coaching staff, I hope they put in free agency in the draft.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really all about those two things. I'm kind of gunning for a lot of the same positions too. So I'm interested to see who gets who between our two teams. Coaching wise, I mean, Antoine Randall is coming in to be like the assistant head coach / wide receivers coach. So that to me is good because I know name recognition, everything else. But when I looked up his sort of pedigree as a coach, it was pretty encouraging. And then, I think the Eric Bieniemy hire as a running backs coach is sort of a luxury hire for a position that is lower than the position I've seen him be good at. Like, but Mike's whole case he made a couple weeks ago for Eric Bieniemy being your guys' OC. So I think to have the football mind in the building, especially for the running back, it makes me think that we're going to take a running back if he's still there. If GT's still there, I think we're going to take him. And I think we're going to do that Ben Johnson 2 running back thing with Swift and who I still believe can be good. I mean, we did not block properly for him or use him properly at all. Like a lot of Bears fans are going, oh, fucking, dude, I can't believe we still have DeAndre Swift. I'm like, yeah, but I mean, I did see him jump over a guy. I also saw like terrible blocking for him all season. Like his stats weren't great, but you know, so a new running backs coach, a new running back scheme, Bieniemy, so focused on that. And again, but I come to the same exact conclusion as you guys. It's about where they spend. There's a slate of offensive line talent coming up in the free agency. There's going to be a bidding war for those guys. And I can't think of 2 teams that need them more than mine and yours to get good quickly. You know what I mean? Like if both of us add an offensive and defensive line, we have a lot of the other stuff, or we go to the draft for that stuff. So I'm always a proponent of veteran players on the lines because I think it takes time to learn in there, and you can be a freak athlete in like more so on the defensive side of the ball and make plays. I'd rather maybe draft a rookie defensive line guy. I don't know why that makes sense in my head, but I think that interior guards and tackles take time to develop. And I'd like to see a line protecting my valuable asset now. But yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes, fellas. We're going to watch the Super Bowl. We'll react to the Super Bowl. Then I'm sure over the course of the off season, we'll talk about the moves that we're making. Free agency deadlines will come up. Negotiating will start to happen. Players will be talking. Then, of course, we'll have the draft. So we'll have that to react to. But just for regular listeners of the show, we are going to start to probably predominantly feature the National Basketball Association, much as we did in this episode, because they're gearing up. You know, it's coming to the real time, and we're coming down the line into crunch time there. This is when it gets really fun. But we'll touch on a few different varieties of sports topics and general topics. Please do take care of yourselves and each other. This has been Missing the Point.